Good evening. Usually, before we'll believe something, we want proof, or as much proof as we can get. Before you buy a car, you try to check it out. Before I'll try to skate across that frozen lake, I'm going to make sure the ice is solid. But when it comes to the supernatural, ESP, psychic powers, astrology, and so forth, lots of people have a different standard. They believe because they want to believe. They care less about proof because believing makes them happy. Now, if you're only 4 years old, it's okay to believe in things we know not to be true, like Santa Claus.
He lives in the sky.
Who does?
Santa Claus.
Tell me about the Easter Bunny. He's real? What does he do?
He gets the candy.
To learn more about what psychologists call magical thinking, Professor Robert Cavanaugh at Williams College in Massachusetts devised a test that involves an imaginary animal and a box. He repeated it for us on these 4 to 6-year-olds.
What do you like, Emma?
First, he divides the kids into pairs, and then his research assistant calls the kids' attention to the large empty box.
You guys have been so good. What's in the box?
As we watch from behind a two-way mirror, the children are shown that there's nothing in the box.
Empty.
Then she tells them a story about a hungry fox who lives in the box.
And his name's Freddy Fox.
They're told it's just pretend.
I think I hear him. I think he's going to come out of his house.
And she again tells them it was all make-believe.
We're just pretending. And there's no fox in that box, okay, Isaac? And Emma?
Then she tells them she has to leave them alone for a few minutes.
I'll be right back.
Now, I assume that the kids, having looked in the box, will know that there's no fox in there. But they don't. Some hear the fox. They worry about it.
That was just the wind.
Some go to the box to listen, but are afraid to open.
1 more minute. No.
Well, one pair does. Some kids accept that there's no fox in there, but most kids aren't sure.
7 minutes left.
This is what happens in test after test. Almost every child begins to believe that the animal they helped create might be real.
Hey guys, thanks for waiting. We're highly fun. You are?
Even when the researcher explains again that there was no fox in the box, most children believe it was there.
I told Riley that the fox will come out.
Even Emma, who looked in when Isaac opened the box.
I opened the box and he saw the largest fox.
Sometimes when we form beliefs, those beliefs persist against logic or evidence to the contrary. When I talked to the kids later, many were still convinced that the fox was in there. Are you sure?
No. No. Yeah. There is a fox. There is a fox. I know a fox. We saw one. We saw one. Yeah.
Now, while magical thinking's fine for kids, it's another thing when adults do it.
As you can see, all the children show the same symptoms: strong hallucinations and lack of reason. Can this be something natural for a human being? It's because we have all been raised with fairy tales, stories with no reason. Form your own conclusions. Religion is an idea, accepted as a situation on the planet Earth. Even profession-like priests exist here and are paid by the system for virtually confuse even more the population, because in the same system exist science, and the two of them are completely different. I say this because religion is based on the idea that the world was created by a divine intelligence, that based on some ancient writings, or the idea itself, and science has discovered that the world that we know, the universe, was formed completely different. There's a difference. Religion observed by definition, which is extremely dangerous. And science defines by observation what appears to be the most logical for human beings. Religion not only that confuses the human being and mocks him when the individual is guiding his whole existence through an idea, but it's also accepted like a job, a paid one. Many money are spinning around religion, now, when are not enough, now, when millions of people are starving, or another millions have nowhere to stay. Maybe that religion helps a lot of people in their confrontation with death, but it's unacceptable for the evolution to stop and lie yourself, now when you can understand so many. For what are you living? Just for tickling your senses?
Why are you not a Christian?
Because I see no evidence whatever for any of the Christian dogmas. I've examined all the stock arguments in favor of the existence of God, and none of them seem to me to be logically valid.
Do you think there's a practical reason for having a religious belief for many people?
Well, there can't be a practical reason for believing what isn't true. That's quite, at least I rule it out as impossible. Either the thing is true or it isn't. If it is true, you should believe it, and if it isn't, you shouldn't. And if you can't find out whether it's true or whether it isn't, you should suspend judgment. But you can't, it seems to me, a fundamental dishonesty and a fundamental treachery to intellectual integrity to hold a belief because you think it's useful and not because you think it's true.
Well, I was thinking of those people who find that some kind of religious code helps them to live their lives. It gives them a very strict set of rules, the rights and the wrongs.
Yes, but you know, those rules are generally quite mistaken. A great many of them do more harm than good. And they would probably be able to find a rational morality that they could live by if they dropped this irrational, traditional, taboo morality that comes down from savage ages.
Well, you were brought up, of course, as a Christian. When did you first decide that you did not want to remain a believer in the Christian ethic?
I never decided that I didn't want to remain a believer. I decided between the ages of 15 and 18, I spent almost all my spare time thinking about Christian dogmas and trying to find out whether there was any reason to believe them. And by the time I was 18, I discarded the last of them.
Do you think that that gave you an extra strength in your life?
I don't know. No, I shouldn't have said so. Neither extra strength nor the opposite. I mean, I was just engaged in the pursuit of knowledge.
As you approach the end of life, do you have any fear of some kind of afterlife, or do you feel that that is just an
No, I think that's nonsense.
There is no afterlife?
None whatever.
Do you have any fear of something that is common amongst atheists and agnostics who have been atheists or agnostics all their lives, who are converted just before they die to a form of religion?
Well, you know, it doesn't happen nearly as often as religious people think it does. Because religious people, most of them, think that it's a virtuous act to tell lies about the deathbeds of agnostics and such. As a matter of fact, it doesn't happen very often.
But what is the point
We're
of
lowly human
prayer?
beings. We pray for all kinds of things.
I'm told by people who pray, I say to them, suppose God doesn't answer your prayer. And they say, well, then it's his will. I will accept his will. What is the point of praying in the first place if he's going to do what he wants to anyway? There's supposedly a divine plan. Well, how are you so arrogant as to ask him to change his plan for some narrow reason, whether it's health or wealth? I mean,
Because we are arrogant. We all think the world revolves around us.
But do you think prayer works? I mean, I pray to Joe Pesci.
I don't believe in...
I pray to Joe Pesci, and I get the same results. I get the same results I used to get from God when I was 9 years old, and I believed in the invisible man in the sky. Yeah. You get about half the things you pray for. It's laws of probability. Half the things you pray for, you get. Half of them you don't. You write off the half you don't. The half you get, you say, oh, isn't he great? And it's just a game. It's a form of mental illness.
No, I
just don't want the lightning to hit me. Look,
relax, Mark. Try to relax. Try to relax.
Pray for me.
So you think God would throw a lightning bolt at you also?
I think,
Don't you
listening to what I just heard,
There's no
as
God.
insulting as that is,
There
to
is a
millions
God.
of
Will he
people of
strike
faith-
me dead right now? Will he? He doesn't dare.
You know what?
He doesn't dare. He doesn't dare. doesn't care.
Does care about our individual
I
cares.
have a good point.
Yes.
You know, when you talk about God in this society, when you profess a belief in God, they just toss the name around. You know, end of every politician's speech, God bless us all, God bless you, God bless America. And let me say
and God bless you, and God bless your book being #1.
That's lovely. He had very little to do with that. It's all individual human. No, please, let me explain something. God, it's a wonderful idea. It's a nice fantasy. It's a way of keeping people in line. It's a way of controlling people. There is as much proof for the existence of God, or even evidence, forget proof. There's as much evidence for the existence of God as there is for the existence of UFOs and extraterrestrials. And yet, if you mention them for a moment, you're considered outside, beyond the pale. You're a kook. You're marginalized. You're crazy. If you mention, if you don't love God, then there's something wrong with you. It's absurd.
What if it makes people feel better?
That's a different thing. If you want to give the universe the name God, that's fine. The universe exists. We are all equal parts of it. We are made of the same stuff.
Most religions are based on the idea that somebody in some way through prayer can make you feel better.
Yes, but why do you need to make up stories?
Yes, why
does the Supreme Being have to be just...
Because life is hard, and you need to make up stories.
You need to make, as long as you realize that it's
weak-minded, you need that. You need that help.
The arrogance of
I know
saying
a lot of strong-minded people who are very, very sincere.
They appear strong-minded, but if they really believe that there's a man in the sky keeping score, something is wrong with them.
I think something...
As long as you believe in something that makes you get through
I believe in the vastness of the universe and in infinity. I believe in family and friends. I believe in love.
So that's your God.
No, it's not my God. Those are not God.
That's your spiritual.
God means an old man in the sky.
It doesn't mean that to me.
Well, why do you use the word? Why do you need the word God? What does the word God do?
I don't need the word God.
Does he decide things for you?
No, he doesn't. I don't believe in
Then
a
you
he
don't
at
believe
all.
what all these other people
believe.
believe.
In the universe.
You have a more sophisticated approach.
But we go to church on Sunday and say, "Dear God, do this and do that," or "God bless America." So here we are telling God who to bless, which is an insult to all religions. If you feel God made everything in the universe, he's ultra smart, you don't have to tell him your Aunt Minnie is sick. Ease the pain, please. He's, "Oh, gee, thanks for telling me." You see, we make God as dumb as we are. So all religions are crap today. They don't even understand what they read.
If you were an eagle, you lie at the foot of a tree with fruits just because there is much more comfortable for you? Because it's cool there? Because from time to time falls a fruit. You, with your amazing view and great big wings, you accept such a situation? Just because you feel more comfortable like that? Or because you're afraid not to fall when you are flying?